Okay, we're back with Philippe Til, and we're working on the George Hebert natural method. And the first video, we demonstrated those three basic moves. And do you have a special name for them, or?
Yes, the flying monkey, the red dragon, and the dragonfly. No, it's painfully obvious and beautifully obvious. If it's arms behind you, that's what he calls it. If it's hands at the neck, it's hands at the neck.
Yeah.
One arm up, one arm down. There's no confusion. There's no trademarking. It is what it is.
We like this simplicity approach at the lean berets.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to take those very three basic movements, and I'm going to add some layers to them, because if, as Philippe mentioned, if you only did that, you wouldn't get much transformation. So we have the base laid down. Now, how will we add to it?
So for the purpose of today's video, we decided to use the forward and backward slit. So we're going to focus on the forward slit. Now I call it a slit because
Yes.
it's a translation from the word fente in French. And think of a slit as in like a nice sexy gown with an open leg slit, right? Because the movements kind of look like that, like
Yeah,
you're
it
exposing
does.
the leg.
Yeah.
I don't call it the split
Okay.
because there's a different word for that in French, which is called écart. Like we're doing the full-on Van Damme splits. That would be more called a spread in French.
Okay.
So again, new terminology. It's not very common, so let's just call it that. It's just, again, literal. It's a slit. Right?
Yeah, and I like what Philippe's done with the translation. It makes it applicable to Western culture today, and he simplified a little bit, but it's very authentic and true to Hebert's work.
But that was my intention. There's another translation out there that's very abridged,
Okay.
but that loses the style. He teaches through rote, through repetition.
Okay.
It's very redundant.
Yes.
To lose that, you'll lose a little bit of his essence.
Okay.
Right.
So we're going to add to it now.
Yeah, so essentially the movement is bringing just one leg back, like you're doing into somewhat of a lunge.
Okay.
Martial artists can see that in somewhat of a power stance, right?
Right.
Your upright stance alignment remains in relationship to your back leg. So if I'm bringing my right leg back, notice my spine is
Right.
in
you
the
can
line.
see that line all
Yeah.
the way through.
My neck remains neutral.
Okay.
I can look forward if I want, or I can tuck it in a little bit if I tend to crane a little too much.
Okay. So I'm going to go into
Yep.
the first round
Yep.
and
So
back.
forward slit, so your leg goes back and your arms are back, right?
Okay.
So go into it. So
and the back leg is straight.
the back leg is straight.
Okay.
Preferably if you can drop the heel down, you get a great stretch. And see if you can work those arms a little bit higher right here, right? So you got a great alignment, beautiful right here.
Now, should I bring the arms in, or just kind of V them a little bit?
Just you can V them out a little bit.
Okay.
If you want to bring them out by simply, pinching your shoulder blades together. You feel my finger? Pinch it with your shoulder blades. Look at that opening.
Right.
Right. Pretty
Yeah,
awesome,
just a
right?
little tactile feedback sometimes really helps.
Yep. Now you can come back and just simply dynamically position yourself and return. Switch legs, position yourself and return. Or you can hold it. There's many ways you can skin a cat. I like the holds personally because you really feel that blood flow.
Right.
It's almost like in yoga when you hold a pose, your muscles get a little fatigued, they get warm, but they stop resisting you, so you get that better range of motion.
Yeah, I would say just feeling through this today that I wouldn't want to rush through those because it takes me a while to kind of feel where I'm at and make that adjustment. And then if you're working with an instructor like Philippe, they can cue you and it's like, oh, I need to do this, and boom, I've got 2 more inches there.
Notice your heart rate kind of went up because you're slightly out of breath just
Yes.
from holding it.
Exactly.
So you don't need a lot of work, it's very simple.
Right.
So right away we're going to go into our second arm position from the previous video, hands at neck.
I like that one, yeah.
So same thing, you're going to engage the upper body and go into your position. Your angle of lean is dependent on how far you bring your legs.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong, but again, try to work within your own limitations. If you can bring the heel down, bring it. If you can't, reduce.
But the back leg is straight, and then that's
Yes.
the line of the body.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And in relation to the body, we are in a straight line, right?
right. And still pressing on the back.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So press.
Yeah.
Great Achilles stretch, heel. Yeah.
And it's very subtle. but just at arm position, it's almost like you have a weight, so your leverage completely changes, right? It's more difficult to do this movement than it is to do the same one with your arms lower and behind you.
And as Philippe pointed out, this actually is a fair amount of work.
Yeah. And that's just the basics, right?
Right. We're skimming the surface today.
Yeah. So now we're going to get into a third position. Same thing, using that arm movement of one arm up, one arm behind. Now, you can obviously do it contralaterally or ipsilaterally, same side or opposite side. I personally prefer, and again, this is my interpretation, I'm saying it's right or wrong, it's just my opinion. I'm trying to get the maximal stretch, the maximum elongation.
Right, which is what we need if we're sitting all the time.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you think of what's the longest line, when I go with one leg back, it'll be with this arm extended upward. So it'll be this entire line. So I will perform my forward slit with a one arm up, one arm down, with my right leg back and my right arm up. And then simply switch sides.
Next stays in neutral.
Yeah. Next is neutral. If I can move it, it means I'm okay.
So I'll take the right arm up. So
left arm back.
Left arm back.
Yep, so you're in position. And now slit. So the right leg goes back.
Right leg goes back. And that's going to be straight, heel in the ground, or maybe a little bit of an angle.
A little bit of an angle, that's fine.
Okay. And then I can lean. That would be a progression?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. And technically, while we're jumping ahead, you want to put your weight on the front leg because for balancing exercises, the back leg would be off the ground. Right? We're not going to do that right now, but just thinking ahead of building blocks.
Okay. So yeah, so it's interesting because there's multiple layers. You know, we started with the basics, and now we're adding a little bit of a leg movement, but it would eventually go into a single leg balance type drill, and eventually into different types of apparatus as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So those are the three basic positions in the first video with some added variations.
And I would add the forward slit, and our next video is going to cover the backward slit.
Great. All right. Thank you.